Hey, it's Sherman Dundee here, and today we are talking about my 5 most loved video games. Now, by most loved, I mean I've played these the most, I've spent just so much time with these, some of these are like childhood favorites, and overall just the video games, or in some cases video game franchises, that I really just love the most out of them all. So number 5. Number 5 has to be The Sims. I'm just gonna say The Sims collectively, The Sims as a whole. I feel like it's easy to put a lot of time and effort into The Sims. It's a game that it just feels so rewarding because you get to live whatever kind of life you want to live, or a life that you want somebody else to live. You can make characters, it's so customizable and so fun. I remember getting, I think it was The Sims 2, like right when it first came out. And my computer couldn't even play it. It was like the family computer. I didn't have my own computer yet at the time, and it struggled so hard to run The Sims because it couldn't deal with the graphics, apparently. So I wasn't able to play that immediately when it came out, but I definitely grew up on Sims Safari. I loved designing your own safari and taking care of wildlife and making all these decisions and having this kind of, I don't know, manager aspect to a game. I really loved that. When I finally did have my own computer, I was able to play The Sims 2 finally. Played the death out of that. Played The Sims 3 expansions, gone through it all. And it's kind of silly because at the same time, every time I play it, I do the same thing. I make like a super introverted, neurotic character who doesn't like to go outside, doesn't like people, and then I make her write like all day long and like paint all day long. And then sometimes she'll get up to like eat some toast or cereal or something and then sit right back down and write and paint and make money. And like, I don't know, it's just, it feels nice to have the illusion of a productive life, I guess. Another Sims game I played was Herbs, Sims in the City for Game Boy Advance. And I never beat that game, but I played it to death, and it just felt really rewarding. Like you were living in a city, and you started from actually basically being homeless and living in like part of a building that you were a janitor and you worked there for. So you kind of work up from that, but I can't tell you how many hours I spent playing that game. It felt like the characters were real. It felt like I was really in this urban city that was also like kind of in Louisiana. There's so many quests cited, so many characters. There were all these mini games to help you earn money, and one of them was like playing basketball by the jailhouse. If you could keep shooting hoops, you would win money. And I played so much out of The Sims. It's just really important to me and a really good way to get out obsessive tendencies in a game, I think. Anyway. Number 4 is a surprising addition because it's a very recent game for me, and that's Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley I've played a lot of hours on. I think I just did the video where I did like a little tour of my farm, and it was almost 80 hours I've put into it at this point, which is a lot for me, especially like right now when I don't have a whole lot of time to play games. And I've just played it to death. I actually didn't like Stardew Valley when I first played it last year. I tried playing it on the PC first, and I just felt like it was really slow, and there wasn't enough payoff. It didn't seem that interesting. It was a little too simple. I was also... I don't know if... I can't remember if it's saved on Twitch or not. I did some streams like the very first time I played the game, and I kept thinking like it was gonna turn into a horror game. I don't know why. Just like the whole, like when it got dark and there were all these weird sounds, and I would just be really paranoid, and I constantly thought it was gonna like pull an Undertale and like go from really cute to like super creepy and you're gonna die instantly. So I didn't enjoy it when I first played it, but now it's just it's the tops. It's everything I really love about RPGs. I love little micromanagement. I love day-night cycle. I love checking on things and having like, all right, I did this, this, and this, and then the next day you do the same thing and you inch up in levels. I really love that. The characters are really cute. I love any kind of holidays and festivals and seasonal things, just all of that wrapped into one. So that is definitely a very well-loved game for me, and I'm just going to keep playing it. Number 3 is actually going to be Fable 2. I've played the first Fable, I've played Fable 2, I've played Fable 3. I went back and did Fable The Lost Chapters as well. I had high hopes for the Fable Heroes game. I can't remember what it was called, but it was dead on arrival. It was supposed to be like a multiple protagonist Fable game. It failed. Anyway, Fable 2, I love it. Like, oh, it is such a good RPG. It has really like funny characters, great writing. The character design's cute. It really has that kind of classic medieval RPG sense. Very like British almost, but in a kind of a mocking way. I just love how it combines all of those elements together. It lets you kind of mold your character. So it's not a complete, you choose everything about your character type deal. But it is like you start as like a child and you train up, and then you're now a hero and you have to do these things, and it's all on you, and your decisions affect you in the game. But the decisions don't affect you like you're going to turn into a Sith or a Jedi or whatever. It's just they end up balancing in the end, or you can make it go one way or the other. There's not really a lot of judgment there for it, I don't feel like. So you can walk around and be this evil character with literal like demon horns and have people screaming and running away from you. But that's how you want to play the game. Go ahead, it's fine. I love that you can like dress your character up, you can marry them off, they can have kids, they can have a house, they can do none of those things, they can just run around with their dog the entire time. It's entirely up to you, but it just feels really authentic, even if all your character's doing is walking around making shadow puppets at people, or playing the guitar, or in some cases pouring endless pints of beer for some extra bartending money, as was the case with my character for a long time. But it's just a really authentic and fun RPG. And I would like nothing more than for it to somehow come to the Switch. That would be fantastic. Also has caused one of my biggest platform issues, because it was only available on Xbox. It's still only available on Xbox. It's exclusive to that. And it drives me crazy because like I don't have any reason to play Xbox except for Fable 2. That's it. So it's caused some grief for me in that case as well. Number 2 is going to be the Katamari games. So I say the Katamari games because there's several of them. I personally started with We Love Katamari, which I think is the second game in the series. It's originally Katamari Damacy. Damacy? I'll go Damacy. But I played We Love Katamari, and now I have Katamari Forever, which is kind of like a greatest hits Katamari game. And just the entire concept of Katamari is so brilliant. I highly recommend actually watching the Did You Know Gaming for Katamari Damacy, because it explains a little bit about how the games got developed. It was made by a guy who wasn't into video games. He was an art student, and he just liked the idea of moving sculpture and modeling things. And the concept's so cool because you're rolling a ball. You're rolling like this snowball that just gets bigger and bigger, and you're just collecting things. But it's so fun and so beautiful to watch. That's just, I'll go on Katamari binges where I just play way too much Katamari and everything looks like a Katamari, but it's really fun. I like that the story is so simple. There's no like villains really, except I guess the king of all cosmos, who gets himself into trouble because he'll get drunk and accidentally destroy the universe, or get bopped on the head and he can't be a king anymore, so you have to build a robot, and the robot accidentally destroys the universe. But it's fun, it's not stressful at all. There's not really any pressure to like compete, I guess. There's not pressure to like not die. I mean, the death sequences in We Love Katamari, I always thought were kind of stressful because the king gets really mad at you and like is throwing meteors at you. But still, you can try again. It's a really good balance of difficulty where it's challenging to get the requirements, like to get the Katamari to grow to the correct size in the correct amount of time, or to only pick up certain things, or to get the biggest Katamari. It can be difficult and it takes a couple tries, but it's not so difficult that you're like, oh, I'm done. I just can't do this. I can't get over that leap of difficulty. It's something that the controls are simple. You can play it many times and not really get too terribly bored of it. And you can start to teach yourself kind of techniques like, oh, I need to do this motion in this setting, or I need to hop more, or I need to start over here and not turn left, and that'll help me out. So I just like it that I'm not a person who's naturally good at video games. I have very poor like hand-eye coordination. I have very poor 3D visual skills. So it's just refreshing to find a game that I can like learn and figure out and not have to have the game tell me or have to look up a method on how to win. And on top of that, you can kind of challenge yourself in the game. You can try to beat your own times, try to beat your own sizes, beat your own scores. So it's just something that, again, I could play a lot of, like really Katamari forever. Another thing I really love about the game, the art style. I love the people in the game. I love the soundtrack. Oh my god. If you want a funky Japanese pre-vaporwave cheesy 80s and 70s and pop and just funk and synth and all of that, like all rolled into one, plus like extra super Japanese at the top. It's so fun. I love hearing the soundtrack. I really want like every song on all the games in some sort of package deal that I can buy and give support to the people who made the music, because the music is great. Love it. Excellent. And my number one is a franchise again, Pokemon games. I've been with them for a long time. I never really growing up considered myself a gamer. Mostly I didn't think like I was that into video games, but God help me, have I had a Pokemon game in my possession since 1999. Like 1988 maybe? 1998 or 1999. Ever since then, I have been playing some form of Pokemon game or another. And it's 2017 now. Yeah, it's been a long ride, but I feel like I grew up in the world of Pokemon. I watched the very first anime, the first kind of round of movies. Of course, it was like everyone, well, maybe not everyone was into it. It was very, very popular, of course, when I was a child, but it's such a good environment. I love the aesthetics of the Pokemon game. It has like this competition, sporty, but not like in your face competitive sort of feeling. It also has this kind of serene and historical, like, let's go digging for fossils and let's go catch some bugs and look at them out in nature sort of zen feeling. I just love the aesthetics to it. I love the kind of exploratory maps where you can figure out where you want to go next, and you end up, it ends up linear, but it doesn't feel linear. It doesn't feel like it's saying, yes, of course you have to go to Goldenrod City before you can go anywhere else. It feels like you're exploring and that you're a kid and you're on an adventure, and it's so fun. I especially like with Katamari, the whole idea of it can be challenging if you want it to be challenging, but it doesn't have to be something that you're frustrated with. In Pokemon, I know the types pretty well. I can do the moves decently. I was never like that super expert Pokemon player who could instantly build a team to match anybody else's. I always knew that if I got to a gym leader that I couldn't beat, I could always just stop what I was doing, go off in the tall grass, and grind my ass off until they were strong enough to beat them. Like, even if it was the wrong type, even if I couldn't get past a certain move, I knew I could always just work harder and put in the effort there, and I would eventually be the gym leader. And I just think that's something, I wish kind of more games were like that. It's probably considered, it's not cheating, it's just like a way of getting around it, but I just really like the idea of, okay, the strategy part you don't understand, or you're having a tough time with, or it's too difficult for you to get to, but you want to still enjoy the game. Okay, well, here is a segment, something you can just, it's kind of monotonous, but you can work hard at it and you can move up. I wish more games had that. I am okay with grinding. Grinding is one of my favorite things in an RPG. Level grinding, just working at the same skill over and over again until you can build it up and move on. It can be abused, I'm sure, but I never felt that way in Pokemon. I always felt like, yep, I just can't beat this next gym leader until I grind like these 3 Pokemon to a higher level. And I understand that, and that's fine. I was always okay with that. And that's something I really wish was in more games. At this point, like, especially now, thinking about Pokemon Moon and getting back into Nintendo, if it weren't for Pokemon, I don't think I would appreciate games the same way I do today. And I'm really glad that I was born at a really good time and like a really good place and the right amount of like pop culture exposure to have grown up with the Pokemon games. Just very nice. So those are my top 5 most loved games that they're just gonna be in my repertoire for a long time. If you're gonna watch my channel, you might get sick of me talking about them because I just love them so much. So if you want to let me know what your top 5 games are, or if, I don't know, you want to see anything else that comes out of my face, I'll still be here. This is another Vita video for me. I've kind of got off track with doing them every single day, so now my goal is just going to be 30 videos by the end of April. Might have 2 in one day. That's alright. We're going to get there somehow. Anyway, I'm Stormer Dundee, and I'll see you in another video.